Hello. David's here too. He's just behind the camera.
Hello.
That's his hand, in case you didn't notice.
Before we officially start this, it would be good to get some feedback. If anyone's watching, tell us that the audio is working. That would be nice.
How are we doing, guys? Are we live? Can you see us? Comment and like the feed if you can see us. I'll be online the whole time, so if you have any comments or questions, just pop them under the feed and we'll get to you as soon as we can.
So we're just winding up here. Can you let us know that you can hear us? Audio good? What about the visuals? Are the visuals nice?
Dan says we're looking good.
Dan would say that.
True.
Awesome.
My brother says nice cake. Well, you have to come and visit and I might make you one.
It's tasty. It's tasty. All right, Emsy.
Woohoo. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's give it a go, shall
right.
we?
Whew. Let's press record.
Okay, generally speaking, we're going to try to ignore the fact that there's a camera over there and just concentrate on the audio for now.
This is primarily for a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe we should just get going. What do you reckon?
Yeah, go for it. Why are we here, Dave?
Welcome to YesTribe Radio, episode 1. We've been thinking about doing this for quite some time now, and obviously with the current coronavirus situation, thought maybe this is a better time than any to get started. Decided to run this episode at 11:57 this morning, so a little more than 4 hours ago. But I reckon there's no better way to get started than simply to give yourself a tight deadline and get to it. The primary purpose of this pilot is to get a sense of what future episodes could look like. Obviously this has been rattled together very last minute, so we'd like to open up channels for content ideas and submission. And also, I know we've got some live questions coming in already on the stream and through our form on the website. Thank you very much for those. We encourage you to send us your messages so we don't feel like we're totally alone in this this brand new first episode. To those means, I've got a list of questions in front of me that we'd ideally have answered by the end of this podcast in 20 or 30 minutes time. These include 1, how often should we run these episodes? 2, how long should each show be? 15 minutes, 30, an hour, more, less? You tell us and we will provide. And then question 3, what's the best way to share community generated content? Perhaps it is through the ways we've organised already. So we have a form on our website, which you can find at sayyesmore.com/YesTribe Radio. I'd imagine that's probably best for people who are tuning in on the podcast after the fact or watching on YouTube or the final recording of what you're seeing live. And if you're watching live now, I'm not going to ask for answers on a postcard because that just increases the opportunity for the postie to get coronavirus. So please do just write in the comments below or alongside the live video, depending on whether you're watching on desktop, laptop or mobile. It'd be great to hear from you. Please do send us your messages. Emms, have we got any initial contact? What are people saying out there?
There's lots of people going, hello! So hi to Hannah, we got Tanya, we Dan, my brother Dan, Mirko, and a bunch of other people are signing in as we speak. So hello everyone.
Hi everyone, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for joining.
Any questions?
Any questions? Are you doing dog or cat sitting in at the minute for money? No, we're not.
Who asked that?
Thanks, CJ.
We are currently in a house sit. We've been really lucky as the country slowly goes into lockdown to have found ourselves in this old 14th century farmhouse in deepest Kent. The owners are currently in the Caribbean, apparently having a very nice time.
Yeah, let's hope they can relax.
Yeah, that we had some messages from them this morning. All schools have shut out there, and groups are not allowed to gather, but they're definitely having some sunshine. But we find ourselves here, and we've decided to set up our impromptu, what sadly will be a temporary studio for the next week and a half, in the little snug here. I believe that if you're looking on video behind us, there are some oak beams which are carbon dated to the year 946 AD. That's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, we're not getting paid for this. We're just on Trusted House Sitters, and they asked us to come in.
She's amended her. She said, no, I didn't mean money. I meant at the moment. Thanks, CJ. Yes, we are house sitting at the moment. Well spotted.
Any other thoughts coming in?
What are your next adventure plans going to be, Dave?
And who's that from?
That's from Hannah.
Maybe we'll get to my adventure plans.
We'll get to that later.
Towards the end of this. Thanks very much for posting these comments in. We'll tackle them all before the end of this show.
Everyone's very concerned about the cake.
Why are they concerned?
Oh, they want to know what kind of cake it is.
I think you better.
Well, one of the ways that I've been dealing with being cooped up is trying out different recipes.
Feeding me.
It's feeding Dave. So yeah, I made that one yesterday. My first successful baking mission with an Arga cooker, and it is parsnip and ginger. Like a bit of ginger. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's delicious.
It is very, very tasty. I can agree with that one. I think there's so many good reasons to do a community podcast like this, and I love the idea that we're using this, maybe it's not the most popular term, but this hive mind, the community, to build up the idea of this radio show. We've obviously come straight in here and managed to work out something that hopefully will work. It looks like the recordings are all going into GarageBand on my Mac. We've got live Facebook, we've got Emms as producer on the left here. So it's been quite fun over the last few hours working out exactly what we need to have this radio show, and hopefully it will have a little bit more structure as time goes on. So thanks in advance for helping us bring that together. Obviously this is a strange time for sure. I don't feel qualified to offer any specific advice, but can only say that this is a unique situation we're all sharing, and none of us know exactly what happens from here. This is obviously the first time we're going through this. I feel our priority, as it should be, is to ensure that those most vulnerable and at risk are looked after, and also that we act with the best interest of the healthcare system at heart. It does look like this is going to get worse before it gets better, and the best thing we can all do is to stay calm and spin this positively. That's certainly the general message of the YesTribe at the best of times. And while many of us, I suppose, will suffer in some way, if not physically, then maybe mentally or financially over the coming weeks, optimism is a powerful tool, as is acceptance. Accepting the situation as it is without adding to general stress or panic levels is, I think, an attitude we're all capable of. And I'd like, if anything, that this podcast / live stream contributes to a general level of calm and community. One strength we do have is that we're all going through this together. If you're having a really hard time, please do reach out to somebody. Don't suffer by yourself. If you're physically fine, then talking's a great remedy. And no doubt there are thousands of YesTribers alone who'd be up for a chat. Please do just ask. Emsy, any more thoughts coming through online?
Oh, there's lots of cake chatter. It's basically our friends chatting about cake. Which is awesome. I hope I've inspired a few people to get baking.
Was there a message earlier that I saw out the corner of an eye about someone wanting you to share recipes?
Yes. Let me find it. That was from a message from Nicola in London. She said, I love that you're doing this. You can definitely read out biscuit recipes if you want to, and I'll still listen. It'll just be nice to hear familiar, friendly voices. It's a bit like the Rebel radio station in the last Harry Potter book.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, it is, actually. I know you've not read it, but, you know, I'm a big fan. And you're defeating the danger by connecting us all. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
There's our tagline for YesTribe Radio, defeating the danger by connecting us all.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Nick.
Have any other messages come through in the last, or any messages worth reading that aren't just discussing your cake habits?
So Tanya says, it's all we hear about, but it's a great way to chat about how we can aid anxieties about COVID-19. Be kind to everyone, as friends and family will all deal with it in their own way. You can socially distance yourself and still get outside. For example, go for a walk, especially when the sun is shining. I just walked the dog along the coastal path. I took the dog and the camera, a couple of hours of bliss, and I only passed a couple of people. Checking in on those you may know are struggling is a really nice thing to do, and it's everything the YesTribe is about, but virtual style.
Lovely. Thanks very much for that, Tanya. I think obviously over the next few weeks for sure, ideas for self-care and ensuring that we don't all plummet into a dark mental hole is something that we can contribute with. And we've got a message coming through from James, all about mental health awareness for people not used to working from home. Really, really good point. I haven't read this, so I'm hoping that Em has vetted it. With the current state of the world with COVID-19, a lot of people are being made to work from home who aren't used to it. Their face-to-face interactions might become zero unless they go out to the shops. So it might be a good idea to talk about some ideas to keep people's mental health good during these times. Things like making sure you have a routine, getting out of bed and showering, having a window open and wear a coat if it's cold, get some fresh air in you. Force yourself to have more than just a coffee break, go outside for a 10-minute walk, and also give yourself a hobby or something to focus on when you're done with work. Try cooking, baking, maybe play some video games, do a jigsaw puzzle or read a book. Maybe it's plan some adventures, big or small, for when this all blows over and the world is a bit more normal. James, absolutely spot on.
Absolutely.
Echoes some of the notes that we wanted to share a little bit later, so thanks for getting those in straight away. I think for many people, spending time alone, if you do happen to be alone, isn't necessarily a normal thing. And as James touched on there, having a routine and ensuring you get some fresh air in you is really, really important. If you have a yard or a garden, get out there, or if you're lucky enough to live close enough to the countryside without having to come into contact with too many people, take advantage of that. The sun promises to peek out behind these spring clouds over the next week, so make sure you go and get some sun on your face. The outdoors is a great healer at the best of times. Absolutely. So go get yourself some fresh air and some sunshine. Yeah,
Glenn makes a good point. He says when work is done, make sure you put the laptop away. Keep work and life separate.
I might struggle with that, Emsy.
Yeah, I know you do. It's fine.
I've got to be honest, there's been so many social media posts going around, often making light, in a good, I think, social strength way of COVID-19. One of my favourite ones is a split screen image. On the left hand side there was someone with a rucksack walking in the wild, and on the right hand side there was a now familiar image of an empty shelf in a supermarket. And I think the quote went something along the lines of, I've spent years of doing this, getting out in the wild to prepare for this, the coming of the apocalypse, or at least not being able to buy toilet roll anymore.
It's true. Everybody's stockpiling pasta. Really? I mean, people get more imaginative. Use this time to be experimental in the kitchen, for one thing.
Obviously, I think there's probably plenty of dwelling on the current stockpiling that's going on. For one, I totally understand why there's an element of this going to happen, but there's no indication that supply lines are running dry or going to be stopping. So let's not panic too much. At the best, I think the best course of action at present is to look after each other. Any more stories, or please don't contribute to any more of these stories of people refusing to give the elderly the last bag of pasta or the last toilet roll. Those are the people we should be looking out for. Other ideas for self-care and making sure that we deal with spending a little bit more than usual time at home. why not set up some coffee meetings over FaceTime? You know, brew up a cuppa, get that coffee in the mug, and then catch up with family and friends who you haven't seen for a while, or you simply are not able to see at the moment. We've got plenty of YesTribe events. If you have a look at sayyesmore.com and then click the events tab, there's a rundown of all of the events that we run in a nutshell, and there are plenty of those which, having taken the course of action to cancel all upcoming indoor YesTribe events, there were many of those, like Little Cup of Adventure, which I think we can digitize.
Yeah, I've been chatting with Hannah about doing it.
So let's have some digital chats.
Absolutely.
There are a few ways that we can bring these groups together.
I mean, I did one a couple of weeks ago, which I called Digital Date Nights, just with my mates. A lot of my uni mates or school friends who I don't have time or geographical energy to get to. So we set up a date in the diary for a digital date night, and we had dinner in front of us as if we had just gotten to dinner. Both had a glass of wine each, and we were on the phone for like 4 hours. It was amazing, just on FaceTime. And I'd never done it with multiple faces before, and it's just great. I really loved seeing them. It was like we were in the same room together. It was really nice.
I did pop in now and then during Emms' digital date night, and the only thing she's not being completely honest about is the fact that she only had one glass of wine in those 4 hours.
Okay,
that definitely wasn't the case.
Yeah, well.
But what a great idea, digital date nights. And of course, if we're not able to get out, then this is a time for me to do all of the things that in past weeks, months and years I've told myself I don't have time to do. Things like learn a few extra skills. Thank you, YouTube, in advance. It's already been really, really helpful over the last 3 days. I've taught myself a bunch of new stuff. Obviously, reading books is something many of us don't give enough time to. Netflix and Amazon Prime, man, I tell you what, if you were going to buy shares in anything, toilet roll, Netflix, hand sanitizer, Amazon Prime, Now TV, there's so many great documentaries, and of course, softer films and TV shows to watch out there. And then, of course, if you have a little bit more time on your hands, then there are so many different ways to help others. You don't need to be in the same place to offer some support to those who need it the most. We'll be bringing together some blogs of recommended courses of action if you'd like to do that. I wonder whether we've had any messages through along those lines then.
We've had a wide variety of conversation going on in the chat. Hannah Honderbrink says, I've been playing nature sounds whilst working from home to trick my brain to thinking I'm outdoors.
Oh, that's lovely.
That is lovely.
Hannah,
you can go outside, Hannah.
I believe Hannah lives in Norway.
She does.
So, Hannah, what kind of nature sounds have you been playing? I'd love to know that. Is it the gentle call of a narwhal, or maybe the chatter of a squirrel in the treetops?
Mirko is concerned about where people are putting all their stockpiled pasta and toilet paper. Jed says, put a note through elderly neighbours' doors with your phone number and offer to help. So that, I think it was a lady down in Cornwall who came up with that little post-it that you can write who you are, where you're based, what's your phone number, and what you can offer help with. It's really good. But it's sort of going viral at the moment. I think everybody's sharing it, which is a lovely way to help people. If
you haven't seen that, we'll dig out a copy, we'll make a copy and make it available on the Say Yes More website to print out. Great idea.
Suze says, this is a time where the internet is wonderful to keep in touch with the YesTribe, but also with friends who are self-isolating, keeping an eye out for each other through messages and the internet. Thanks, Suze. Yeah. Absolutely true.
We in a couple of minutes we're going to have a little call-in, test out our call-in technology with Jen George, who is one of the leaders of YesTribe Devon and Cornwall, and also we have we mentioned we're going to be working out some more virtual community activities rather than the usual getting people together in the same place. I've got a little message actually to play from Hannah Miller, who was the first person on the Say Yes More volunteer team to come up with an idea about virtual activities. at 9 p.m. tonight, Hannah has organised a virtual quiz. It costs £3 to enter. There is a small cash prize, which depends on how many people join in, if you need that incentive. But the majority of the funds raised will then go to the YesTribe, which is, if you don't know, the Say Yes More's community space. It's a solar-powered double-decker bus conversion, currently living in a lovely countryside plot in West Sussex. So thanks very much to Hannah for organising that. We will share underneath this live video, once we close down and save it, we'll share a link to the virtual quiz, but you'll also find it in the very top thread of the YesTribe or on the Say Yes More events tab. Just click that event, follow the link through. Hannah is about to tell you, if this works, exactly how the quiz is going to run and why you should be involved.
Hi Dave, thanks for having me on. I can't wait for the Say Yes More virtual quiz tonight, Sunday 15th March at 9 p.m. So get your thinking hats on and do come and join us. It's super easy to register on the virtualquizevents.co.uk website. It takes just 60 seconds. Once registered, search for the available quizzes or follow the link from our Facebook event. All registered players log into the quiz before 9 p.m. tonight, and then the quiz will last about 15 minutes. All players play against each other through 6 rounds of multiple choice questions across the categories of general knowledge, sport, film, TV and music. You'll have about 20 seconds to answer each question in each round, but if there's a tie break, it will come down to who answered the quickest. The events are won by the players that answer the most questions correctly and in the fastest time. There's a small cash prize for first, second and third, with 60% of the funds raised going to our very own Yes Bus, and it costs just £3 to enter. To top it off, we have a virtual gathering and after-quiz virtual party for all those taking part, and a virtual prize giving via a platform called Zoom. The link for this is in our Facebook event. All of this info and more is all available on our Facebook event on the main YesTribe page, called YesTribe Sunday Virtual Quiz. And thank you to everybody.
Oh, was she cut off at the end there?
No, I must say, obviously we took 4 hours to bring this episode together, and I sent Hannah a little message and asked her to record an audio message no longer than 30 seconds, which was really harsh by my standards. Order. Yeah, exactly. So that was brilliant, Hannah. Thanks so much. Emms very shortly is going to paste the link into the comments section below the live streaming video on the YesTribe. We've both lined up for this 9 o'clock quiz tonight separately. We're both competing.
Have you registered now?
Yeah, I've registered too. So Emms and I will be self-isolating in different rooms of the house, and I'm gonna kick your ass, basically.
I was worried you were going to steal all my answers, so I'm glad you got your own entry.
Hope to see a few more of you sign up for that before the day is out. 9 o'clock virtual quiz. Thanks again, Hannah. I believe we have Jen George on the line.
We do. Hi, Jen. Thanks for waiting.
Hey, that's right.
How you doing?
Sorry about that, Jen. I'm not sure. Hold on. I'm just going to turn you up a little bit so everyone can hear you. How are you doing? What have you been doing today?
I'm good. I have literally just got back in my car after a Bronze Duke Edinburgh expedition assessment, so I can't actually feel my hands. So if I drop the phone, I'm sorry.
Talk us through what a Bronze DOV assessment looks like.
So usually school students, but sometimes scout teams or guides teams come out and they do the Duke of Edinburgh's award. It's a international award scheme where a section of that is an expedition element. So yeah, they've been walking for 2 days in camp last night up in the Chilterns in... Do you know what? I don't know what county I'm in. I should probably know that, actually.
Jen, you are undoubtedly one of the most optimistic members of the entire YesTribe, let alone our volunteer team. And I wondered if you'd be up for motivating and sharing some ideas for people to spend a little bit more time outside over the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely up for that.
Why would you recommend that folks open up that door, go past the doorstep and do something a little different?
I just think getting yourself outside is a brilliant way of getting outside of your comfort zone. You never know who you're going to meet, and you never know the opportunities that you might quite literally stumble upon as you go out of the doorstep. I'm a big believer in you don't have to go very far to find adventure. So some of my favourite adventures have been quite close to home in the last year. Particularly where I'm living at the moment in Exeter, I've suddenly realised in the last few weeks almost how much there is within 10 minutes of the house. And everyone should just get out and explore.
Last year, Jen, you had a great project, 365 days of adventure, and if I'm right in thinking, that meant you did one different adventure every single day in 2019. If I've got that right, can you share some of your favourite adventures that you completed closer to home?
Completed closer to home. So I went out with my dad quite often when I was back in Cornwall, which is where I was living last year, and we used to go up to somewhere called Castle Andinus and watch the sunset or the sunrise. So something really simple like getting up just an hour earlier than you would do normally, just to watch those first rays of sunshine appear over the horizon. That's one of my favourite things in the world to do. But even we went on, probably the most bizarre one I did was we jumped on a bikes, again with my dad, and we decided to go on a tour of our local town, which isn't very big, but explore all the roads that we've never been down and find out all the place names we've never seen. And you suddenly realise, even within a sort of mile or 2 mile radius of where you live, all of these places that you've just never seen, and there's some pretty cool stuff out there.
That is awesome. Absolutely bang on. What are you doing down in with the YesTribe down in Devon and Cornwall? For those of you who are just tuning in and the YesTribe is new to you, we have regional tribes all over the UK, and Jen is one of the leaders of YesTribe down in Devon and Cornwall. What are you up to at the moment, Jen?
So we're hosting as many outdoor events as possible, so that might be going for walks. We started something called Feast in the Forest, where everyone who signs up brings a different item of food, and we go up to our local woodland and we'll cook together, which has actually been quite successful considering we don't plan the meal we're going to make. It's a bit like Ready Steady Cook, but YesTribe version, that we turn up with ingredients and everyone just chips in to make a meal, and the results so far have been very tasty. We've had 2 Yes Stories events so far. I'm hoping to plan another coronavirus free, hopefully, in the next few months. But yeah, we're definitely going to get another Yes Stories going. And climbing, we've been up to. But we've also been talking about non-outdoor activity, say yes more events. So we're hopefully going to host some board game evenings and some different quiz nights as well.
Jen, that's just awesome. Thanks on behalf of Emms and I and the rest of the community for pulling that stuff together for everyone down in the southwest, and thanks for giving us a little bit of your time this Sunday at last moment.
That's right, no point.
Yeah, I hope your fingers are warming up, Jen.
Yeah, warm those fingers up and get home safe.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Jen.
Bye.
Awesome. What a superb lady. Emms, as we've been chatting to Jen there, it looks like a few more messages have been coming through.
Yeah, we've got one from Ryan who's in the States. Hi, Ryan.
Woohoo! International already.
Yeah, we have 56, 57 people watching live on Facebook at the minute.
That's amazing.
So hi everybody. He says he's got an idea for an adventure theme to some of the future content, which would be nice. So we're not always going to just chat about COVID-19 and how to stay away from it.
Amen.
So yeah, Ryan says, I'm not sure if these are specific questions to you or whether we could start a debate going, but what are the differences in doing adventures with other people or as a couple compared to on your own? Yes, darling. How did it go when we went together?
Oh, I absolutely love going solo, even since we met.
He says, do you worry that the adventure needs to be more exciting to keep the energy up? I guess that depends on you as a person and why you're creating the content.
I'm thinking, looking over Em's shoulder here, awesome ideas and questions there, Ryan. I think we should have an adventure specific show at some point in the next week where we can dig deeper into this stuff. Obviously, adventure runs through the blood of the YesTribe in all different shapes and sizes.
Definitely.
And yeah, I think we owe the subject enough to dedicate at least one show or at least one regular segment to that. So thanks for that, Ryan. We'll definitely make sure that that's a recurring theme.
Other themes that people have suggested, Dom reckons some kit reviews on stoves, tents, sleeping bags, etc. that you use on adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Recommendations on what kit to use would be great. Sheila says it would be great to hear about other people's yes stories, events that are still going ahead, and maybe some local get-togethers. So maybe at the beginning of each one we could list off what YesTribe stuff we've got going on, walks and talks and virtual bits and bobs.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Sheila.
Jen and Ellen said skill sharing workshop videos.
Excellent. So all of these things that we're sharing now and people have recommended, if anyone else is listening and you'd like to add to these thoughts and ideas, things like what skills would you like to learn? If we can't actively make suggestions or hold those workshops ourselves, then we'll do some behind the scenes research and share the best places where we can all learn these new skills. Very cool ideas. Suzanne Coutinho, thanks so much for loving the idea of this YesTribe Radio. We feel like it's going okay, and we're going to wrap up this first episode in the next 5 minutes or so, but awesome of you to tune in. Thanks very much. What other ideas did you have to say there? What have we had any thoughts on when these shows should go out? Maybe slightly earlier on weekends than we do on weekdays, for example. Mm-hmm. Should we do a shorter one every day, or do slightly longer ones every 2 or 3 days? It would be great to hear all of your thoughts.
There are all sorts of suggestions coming in. Lots of people, some people concerned with putting kids to bed, it needs to be after that. Mm-hmm. Or getting home from work, etc. Whereas if we're working from home, then why not during the day sometimes? I've also got a suggestion of having lots of different hosts so that it's not always us doing it. There's a lot of...
Are people already sick of us?
No, I think it's more... Well, I hope not. But it's more, that people are appreciating how much time and effort it takes to put this on. So they're like, take a break, let other people do it.
For sure.
But yeah, if you want to be on the show, then... Oh, look at me, I'm calling it a show.
I guess it's a show of sorts, isn't it? No, I think that's a great idea, and we can also do pre-recorded segments. There's already a few people on the YesTribe who've volunteered to record either film or audio segments. So we do appreciate any help. It has taken a solid 4 hours for us to bring this show together, so it would always be nice for other people to get involved. Any final comments on the Facebook thread before we start to wrap this one up, Emms?
Oh gosh, there's millions. They're just having a chat amongst themselves. It's brilliant. Lots of people asking if Yes Stories will happen online somehow. You want to chat about that?
We've been thinking about how Yes Stories could happen online. Absolutely. So I think at this point we'll give that an absolute yes. How we make it happen, we're not sure, but in the coming days, please keep an eye on the YesTribe, and we'll be putting out calls for all kinds of different content. We'd for sure really like to make that work, even if we invite a few locals around and do it right here in this setting, and then repeat that formula around the country. That's an absolute
There's a little bit of chat about on the feed of having some kids host some sessions. I think that would be absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely love it. Yes.
But Hannah does say though that unfortunately any content that Seren would produce would probably not catch on. Seren is about 2.
Yeah. Seren's awesome company, but maybe not quite the talker just yet.
We might not understand her.
Any final comments before we close this show down? I think along the way I'd love to hear the different ways people are dealing with coronavirus positively. So how are you dealing with it? Are you finding yourself in a situation that you haven't been in before? Have you got the virus, or you think you might? Are you self-isolating, and how does that feel? How's that affecting you, your family and your friends? As mentioned before, we'd also love some community created videos, so you don't even need to ask our permission to do this. On sayyesmore.com/YesTribe Radio, we have some suggestions for how you can submit content to us, usually to the email address hello@sayyesmore.com, and if it's a film or a file that's too big to email, then send it via WeTransfer. That's a free app that enables people to send larger files than can be emailed. So even if, let's just say now, if you've got a 60-second to 3-minute short yes story, almost imagine you're standing up at an open mic and sharing a quick story. It could be about anything, a small adventure, something that you did to help your local community, or anything to do with COVID-19 that's remaining optimistic and accepting of the situation. Please do send those in. If we get enough, or when we get enough. It's not an if, it's a when. This is down to you. Then we will edit those together and put that out in a separate show.
One thing that I would like to include, which I've chatted to a couple of people about, and that David has just reminded me of, to share some positive stories and moments of kindness that people have either done or that people have experienced themselves, and also just tips. People don't always, it doesn't come naturally to some people to reach out.
Sure.
So I think it would be quite nice to highlight when it does happen, so that encourages people to do it more.
Absolutely. That's the best kind of infectious behaviour. Absolutely brilliant. Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. If you did post something and we haven't brought you up on the show, really sorry, but we will give you a mention in the next one. Obviously this is the day and age of social media, so we'll be sharing all of the recordings once they go up on podcast and video channels. We'll be sharing links to all of those, but it's always nice to have a bit of a hashtag, so maybe you can send in your suggestions as well. My first one is hashtag CoronaCast. I don't know, what do you reckon, Emsy? Do you like that one? Yeah?
It would mean that we could only really do it for as long as Corona's around.
That's true, but
we can always get sponsorship from the beer afterwards.
We totally should. Although I don't know whether they've got much budget at the moment.
No, not everyone's the most popular drink.
You've just highlighted something there. Is that worth a share?
Oh, just because it made me giggle. Dom down in Devon would like to know, what's your favourite dinosaur?
My favourite dinosaur?
Yeah, way to throw a curveball, Dom.
My favourite dinosaur is the Brontosaurus.
Me too.
For me, I always imagine the Brontosaurus as being a slide from the Flintstones credits.
Nice.
I love the idea. They seem very gentle, and they don't have the sharp teeth.
Triceratops was always one of my favourites too.
Oh, why? You like a mohawk?
I just thought she looked really funky.
Are they all female?
I'm specifically thinking of The Land Before Time.
Well, dear viewers and listeners, you've just got a gentle insight into what Emms and our lives is like. I'll read out some more M-related quotes in future episodes.
Oh no, that can't be a segment.
I think it should be.
I'm gonna cry.
But for now, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in and hope you've got something out of this. Forgive us for being a little bit amateur. We did decide to do this less than 5 hours ago. We've been live streaming on the YesTribe Facebook group, and that film will be saved for posterity right there on the YesTribe. If you're not a member of the YesTribe, please do join up. It's totally free. Just join the YesTribe group. Yeah, it's free. That's a good deal. And we'll also be sharing recordings of this and all future episodes on the Say Yes More podcast, which is already live and online. There's a few historical episodes from the last few months. You can listen in to those on your favourite podcast app, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Anchor FM. Please do subscribe on your favourite podcasting channel as well, so you don't miss future episodes. And also we'll post this film on the Say Yes More YouTube channel as well. Right on. Thanks so much. I've been Dave Cornthwaite. I still am, actually.
Yeah. And I'm still Emms, Cornthwaite.
That was a weird way to sign off. We'll do better next time.
It was. Can I just leave you with potential names for the podcast that people are suggesting?
Go for it.
Corncast, Cornflake Cast, Cast Flake. Thanks, guys. You're being really creative. We will take them all into consideration.
No promises at all.
Yeah.
Stay safe, wash your hands, say yes more, and be kind to each other out there. Cheers all.
You have to keep chatting, otherwise it's just awkward.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We love you. It's been great spending our Sunday afternoon with you. Signing out.